Crookies Roundup, right here every day. Crookies Roundup, which players are on their way. If an agent's got a story.
Hello, Alex Crook. What you got for me?
Crookie gets it first.
Yeehaw, cowboy! There's a snake in my boot.
He gets all the gossip from the best players to the worst. Of course, it's time for Crookies Roundup. He's the very best. He's the rootinest, tootinest journo in the Wild Wild West. Crookies Roundup.
Yeah, I know Buzz from my Bournemouth days, actually.
It's the best one we've got. Oh, it's the best one by far that we've got.
Oh, marvellous.
Right, so good morning, Crookie. He's joining us right now. Hello, my friend.
Crookie, very good morning. Before we get any further, Crookie, I'm not sure you can see the reaction in the studio when your jingle comes on, mate. But it's marvellous.
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. Happy last show, Laura. And because it's your last show, I believe that jingle might be being retired after today.
No way.
You can't retire it.
That's unretirable.
Oh, it took too long. It's the Crookie. It's the best thing that's been produced on this radio show, including the all 24 hours of live coverage that we give the nation. You cannot retire that.
No way.
Unless I can
Let's
take
hope
it home
it's going to win
with
some
me.
awards. Yeah, you can keep it.
Thank you. Crookie, do me a favour, as it's my last show, please give me some good news about Declan Rice.
Well, I think we're getting there for Arsenal fans. I think the end game is in sight. We found out late last night that Arsenal have gone back in with a third bid, £100 million up front, rising to £105 million with add-ons. I think the overall package now is a lot more palatable for West Ham than the two offers that they previously rejected from Arsenal and the £90 million bid they turned away from Manchester City. The only stumbling block now, as I see it, is the structure of the payments. How many years do they want to stagger that £100 million over? Those are the discussions that are taking place. It hasn't been rejected, but it hasn't been accepted yet either. And I guess West Ham, Ali, will buy themselves a bit of time and see if Manchester City are going to come back with an even bigger offer. They do know, though, that Arsenal has always been Declan Rice's preferred destination. We've been pretty steadfast about that on this radio station.
See, that's the one thing, Crookie, to be quite honest with you. I think that's as big a factor as anything, right? If Declan Rice has stated, A, not only does he want to stay in London, B, that he wants to go to Arsenal, then effectively, you know, Manchester City are struggling. Yeah, of course, they're not out it completely, but they're struggling. If he actually names the club that he wants to go to as Arsenal, then the two clubs have got to just got their heads together and get a deal sorted. And it looks like, you, as you say, mate, they're just a bit there.
Yeah, as I say, I think the end game is in sight. We should mention Newcastle as part of this conversation. I ran that story on my notebook on the talkSPORT website a few weeks ago. They were showing an interest. I understand, actually, Declan Rice's camp have met with Newcastle, but they were given the same message. Declan wants to join Arsenal, very keen to go and play under Mikel Arteta and see how he fits into that system and see if Arsenal can go again and really challenge Manchester City for the title, because of course it's not just Declan Rice who's going to be arriving. Kai Havertz is pretty much done as well, £65 million. Jurriën Timber would be a £40 million signing. That's over £200 million that Arsenal are pledging to spend in this window, and we're not even in July yet.
Wow. What else is going on?
Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Harry Kane, Crookie, come on, talk to me.
Well, I think this is turning into another saga. We know that Daniel Levy, in an ideal world, doesn't want to sell the England captain, certainly doesn't want to sell him to a Premier League rival. There was always the risk that if a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich or a PSG came calling, that Daniel Levy may have a decision to make. The initial figure that's being talked about of £60 million isn't really going to give him a decision to make. But I think what's interesting here, and I mentioned this to Jim and Simon yesterday, usually clubs don't start talking numbers unless they've been given a bit of encouragement by the player.
Yeah.
They would be open to the move. So potentially, I think Harry Kane would fancy the idea of a move to Bavaria. We know that Bayern Munich, year on year, are in a very strong position to challenge for the German title. So we be it a club that are challenging for major silverware. However, the caveat to that, the messages I was getting out of Tottenham yesterday, they still don't want to sell Kane this window. They want him to at least see out his contract.
Wow, and just let him go on a free next season.
It's amazing, that.
I wonder if that would be the best thing for Harry Kane as well, Crookie. What do you think?
Well, I think Ange Postecoglou is a good appointment. James Maddison is coming in. That's pretty much a done deal.
Is it?
The first
Where have I
signing
been the last 24 hours?
It'll be the first sign of the Postecoglou era. So I think
Glastonbury.
Maybe Harry Kane might just wait and see how the season begins and see if he believes that Tottenham are showing signs of progress. I think in an ideal world, Daniel Levy gets him to commit to a new contract, but I think we're a long way from that at the moment.
Okay, Crookie, wonderful to speak to you, mate.
Great to talk to you, pal.
I will miss you very much, my friend, but I will be listening to your updates and checking out your little notebook as well.
Appreciate it. And all the best on whatever comes next. You've been an absolute star.
Thank you so much, Crookie.
Well done,
brilliant
mate.
Alex Crook there on The Breakfast Show. Someone just sent a message in. I've lost it, but it basically says, you and me breaking up. He said he's taking it harder than his divorce. And I just wanted to read this one out just before we go to the break as well. Dear Laura and Ali, you are the best partnership since Torval and Dean. I've listened to you since going back to work after lockdown, where the world seemed bleak. You've brightened up every morning since. So brilliant to hear Laura speaking with authority on sport and taking down the haters. Your mum sounds like a badass, by the way. She's coming in today, and Ali is the best thing since Question of Sport. Big fan, gonna miss you, Laura. My mum's coming in today. Should we get her on air? That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Just even like for 2 minutes, we get her in there. Can we separate her and Ali though?
No.
Can we have them at different sides of the
No.
studio? I take
We're
this all
sharing
back.
the mic,
Oh,
your mother
God.
and I.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm calling
Mum and I
Rubie.
are sharing the mic.
Right, Laura's mum coming up probably about 9:30. It's just coming up to 8.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.